Hello, I'm Meg McKinlay and I am here to talk about my new picture book, How to Make a Bird. How to Make a Bird is quite different to anything I've ever done before. It's written in really spare prose, sort of almost a prose poem style. And in narrative terms, it's a story of a young girl who sets out quite literally to make a bird. She gathers bones and feathers and shells and stones, anything she thinks might be useful from her environment for what's essentially a sort of construction project. But then it's about the moment that she realises that what she's made is a physical bird, and that in fact if she's to make a real bird, there's something else that she needs to give it that comes from a very different place. In terms of the inspiration for this book, I have a long-standing association with Japanese culture, and this book, I suspect, is heavily influenced by my interest in Japanese philosophical concepts, the idea of the floating world, the notion that so much of the beauty of life sort of rests in sadness as well, that acceptance that all of this is going to pass eventually. So there's that. But there's also very directly a much less lofty inspiration, and that is the fact that many, many years ago, before I was published, I was reading an issue of Magpies, the magazine, and I came across a review. The book title at the head of the review was How to Make a Bird by Martine Murray, and in the instant that I read this title, I experienced profound excitement, creative excitement, and then profound sense of loss, because this was a book I must write. I just knew it in that moment, but also simultaneously that it had already been written and I couldn't write it. But then I went on and read the review and I realised that Martine's book was a novel, it was for young adults, it was nothing like this world that I had spun for this book in an instant, just on reading the title. So I could still write my book, my picture book. And I went on and I did it. And a mere 17 years later, and there's a whole separate story there, but eventually it's being published. And I would just say that this is truly a book of my heart. Matt Ottley's illustrations have brought it to gorgeous life, and I absolutely cannot wait to see it released into the wild. And I hope it finds its way into your heart as well. Thanks.